Well, you guys, it is official. I finally have a Traxxas UDR. Now, she's not in the best condition whatsoever, but I got a pretty good deal on it. Also with some upgrades, such as the rear trailing arms, and I also have an upgraded servo in there. As you guys know, I don't tend to keep this truck like this for very long. I like to customize my stuff, so I have a real big surprise on the way, which is, I'll just tell you that it's a body. I'm not going to show you what livery it is. But I will use this as a bashing body, practice body, just for different things. But I have a body that's coming for this that's going to blow your mind. It's going to look absolutely spectacular. Now you're wondering maybe why there's no wheels or anything on it. This did come with wheels. As you can see, it came just regular stock wheels that come with this livery. I went ahead and took it one step further, and I went ahead and painted the wheels. Now, this truck did come with one that's broken, which is fine. I'm going to put it on as a spare, and I'll figure out how to do it, probably with some tie downs that I'm going to make. But my main concern was that it came with all 6 wheels, because as you guys may or may not know, these wheels are about 60 bucks for a set on eBay, and that's about as cheap as I can find them. So I just went ahead and painted these. I did silver, I did black beadlock ring. This was originally orange, and then I did little gold accents for the beads. I think it looks really good. So here's the regular wheel. Again, I did the lugs here with that gold. I did the interior ones with some silver, and I didn't paint the middle. I really didn't feel like it was going to do much whether I painted it or not. And as you may or may not know, you're going to have to paint 6 of these, 4 for each corner plus the 2 spares. So, it's very time consuming, labor intensive to get the wheels all painted up. I would say in total, it took probably about an hour to paint all of the lettering on all the tires, and then probably another 2 hours to do all the wheels with the paints. In addition to that, I have gone ahead and I'm going to take these off, the battery, those are going to get painted. This pipe is probably only going to get painted on the tip and the little rivets down here. That's probably about it. I took off the fire extinguisher and I'm painting that as well. And then the radiator is just going to get a small treatment of the rivets getting painted, a little bit on the center. Not a whole lot going to go, too crazy with that. But I'm real excited for this truck. I have been wanting one of these trucks since it was ever announced, and I'm glad I finally have it with me. You guys are going to just absolutely love what I'm going to do with this truck. I already have most of what I want to do for this truck already ordered, on the way, or being worked on at the moment. So as soon as I get all that stuff in, you'll be seeing videos on this truck. So as you saw, we removed the bottom plate. I'm still gonna have to remove this one here, and I'm gonna have to take off the rear axle. I want to re-grease everything and make sure everything is good. My main concern with buying a used UDR was a lot of people like to take these out to the sand, and this came from Florida, so I wasn't really too concerned other than it being to the beach, but the owner said that it hadn't, and by the looks of it, this is kind of like clay, so I want to say this has been more towards like a track than the beach. Plus, I don't really see any corrosion. I do see signs that have been through water, but again, this is coming from Florida, so that's kind of, there's humidity in the air all the time, so this to be expected. So for instance, I don't see any corrosion on the interior screws, which leads me to believe that it wasn't really running that much water, and possibly the outside ones just oxidized just because of the environment. Almost all of the ones on the outside have a little bit of rust on there, so also if it was raced on clay and if it was lightly wet, that might do it as well. But overall, I think the truck looks pretty good. It just needs some cleaning. I'm going to do some scale touches, such as coloring in little accessories and stuff like that. These here, I have a Pennzoil and I have a Quaker set that I'm going to put in there. Yeah, I know they're not the same ones, but I wanted to mix up the color a little bit, and plus I do what I want.
I do what I want.
So that's why I'm putting them on there. So what I did with these is I hand painted these with Testors enamel paints, and I did the tops with the oil-based Sharpies. This is I'm too broke to have a decal printer, so I actually just got a picture off of Google, shrunk it down to size. I went ahead and just printed it out on my printer, cut it out, put it on here, and put some Mod Podge. So at this angle, it looks kind of nasty, but the good thing is that it seals it. So if it gets water on there, it's not going to eat away at the paper. But as you can see from this angle, from far away, you'll never know that it had the Mod Podge on it. So that's a nice little trick that you can do. And I did the same thing with this one. Although I did forget to take off that white part on the bottom of the Quaker logo, but that's fine. But like I said, I'm going to do a lot of those scale touches. I'm going to do it throughout the truck. There's some stuff that came upgraded, such as the rear trailing arms are aluminum, and they seem in pretty good quality, so I don't think I'll have issues with these. He did send me the original ones, and although they weren't broken, you can definitely see the wear on those. And also, in addition to that, it comes with a Savox high gear black edition servo. So that's like, I think, a $80-$90 servo, somewhere around there, which will give this truck the extra little oomph that it needs. And yeah, you know, I'm pretty happy with this purchase. I think you guys are really going to see some awesome things coming out of this. I would say my biggest disappointment with this truck as of right now is probably just how beat up the cage is. It's got really scrape marks everywhere, and I really considered buying another cage, but I just don't want to spend $60 on getting another cage. I really don't, especially when I can use those $60 for maybe an upgraded part somewhere else. So I'm gonna hold out on this, and you know, that's fine. That's what these trucks are for. They're meant to be bashed, so no biggie, I guess. It's just an aesthetics thing for me. Now, like I said, that's going to add so much horsepower, just adding these stickers. The back fit perfect. The front, I had to trim a little bit. I don't know if you saw that in the video or not, but it wasn't much. Just a little bit from the top and a little bit of the tail on the bottom. So I think they look pretty cool. Now, the only thing is their durability. They feel like they're good, but who knows? You know, once you put a bunch of dirt on it or mud or whatever, it might start to peel off. So life expectancy on these, I'm not expecting a whole lot, which is fine. I don't know if you can tell the difference just yet, but I did go through and clean it. There's some spots like this where it's just kind of like caked in, and it's also roughed up by concrete, so that's not going to get taken off. But I think it looks pretty good overall as far as how clean it is, and I'll go ahead and start adding stuff back into it. But before I do that, I got to address those all those grease spots. So I'm going to do the front, the center, and also have to do the rear axle. Alright, so here's an update. This truck takes way too long to get to anything. Look how many screws I had to go through to get to this point, just to take this off. That's ridiculous. But anyways, the gear itself doesn't look too bad. The grease in here is from Traxxas, I'm pretty sure, the original. And the pinion looks good. There's a little bit of rust on the bearing, but the bearing itself doesn't look that bad. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to put some grease on the inside and also in here in the casing. Okay, so we have the front greased up and ready to go. Next up is going to be the center. Alright, we got the center all put back together. That was a complete mess to get just to get this off. So far, that's the only thing I haven't liked about this truck is so many screws to get to something. But done with this. Now I got to go through the reverse process and putting back the front, and once I'm all done, I'll come back and do the rear. So really, my main reasoning for beginning greasing the whole driveline is this: anything to put a free part in. So this is the front drive shaft, which is actually so much shorter than I thought it was going to be. But that's it. Oops. That's it right there. That little plastic piece. As you can see, it's not too bad. It's a little worn down, so I mean, it's a little warped actually now that I'm looking at it. But it's not too bad. It probably would have gone for a little bit longer, so I'm going to go ahead and just put the aluminum in. It's not a part that you'll see at all, but at least I'll know it's there. Well, after about another 30 minutes, we finally got the front back together. This is really going to encourage me not to dog the crap out of this truck, because just to change that one diff is probably going to be a 2-hour job. So don't expect me to be jumping this out of a top of the house or something like that. We're going to do some cool stuff with it, but believe me, we're not going to strip that. Hopefully we can strip something here or in the rear, because those are more accessible. But since everything is back together, I checked the wheels just to make sure that there's no binding. I can't do it with one hand, but yeah, it works fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the rear drive, and we're going to open up that rear. I will say, Traxxas sure knows how to make one ugly axle. The rear looks really nice, and then when you turn it around, you have this big old bulge. Like, I don't know, I feel like they could have worked the internals a little better than that. But anyways, it took about 10 minutes to get this off. These are all the screws for it, but I still have some more to go before I can get to the inside. And I'm sorry, I forgot to show you guys the middle one, but it looked just like this. Again, this is the stock Traxxas grease. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some of my own grease in there. I'm not going to remove this one. It still looks pretty good shape. It's not too dirty, but it should be a little more packed in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, it's all put back together as far as the driveline goes. I tested it out and everything works fine. Again, I just would strongly advise not messing something up. It's really difficult to get to at least the front part of this. It got easier as you got to the back, but of course, everything is more open, so that's understandable. I get it. So what I'm going to start doing next is putting back all the scale pieces that were back here. I still have one more thing to paint, and that's the jack. After I have that painted, I'm just going to put it all back together. And right now it's been kind of rainy outside, and I really don't want to take the truck out for its first run in water, so I'm going to wait till it dries out a little bit, and then we'll get a first run in. So if you guys have any questions, don't forget to leave them down below. Don't forget to leave that like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.